Imagine for a moment that you're standing in the middle of a crowded room. People around you are laughing, talking, and sharing stories, but you feel a deep sense of isolation. You try to connect, to join in, but there's an invisible wall between you and everyone else. It's like no matter how many people are around, you're on your own little island, remote and disconnected. How often have you felt this way? Have you wondered why forming close relationships, something that seems to come so easily to others, feels so hard for you? Maybe you've questioned yourself, thinking, is something wrong with me? But what if I told you that your feeling of isolation isn't a burden, but a sign of something deeper? What if your solitude is not a curse, but a calling, an indication that you are set apart for something greater that others may not fully understand? This isn't just about being shy or introverted. It's about being called. Sometimes, your sense of being alone might be a divine whisper, a message that you're meant for more. And sometimes that means walking a path that few others can walk with you. Today, we're going to explore why God's chosen ones, perhaps like you, often find themselves alone, not because they're unloved, but because their journey requires times of solitude. In these moments, you're being prepared for something bigger, something divine. So, if you've ever felt alone, misunderstood, or out of place, stick with us as we explore 7 reasons why this solitude might be shaping you into the person God intends for you to be. Reason number 1, divine protection. One of the most profound reasons God's chosen ones often find themselves alone is for divine protection. It might sound strange at first. How can isolation be protection? But sometimes, God's plans for us require keeping us safe from influences that could pull us away from our purpose. Divine protection isn't just about physical safety. It often relates to our spiritual and emotional well-being. When God has set you apart for a special purpose, He might distance you from certain relationships or environments that could derail your growth or lead you into temptation. Think about it. How many times have friendships or relationships pressured you to compromise your values? For chosen ones, these aren't just social difficulties. They're diversions from the divine path laid out for you. Consider Joseph from the Bible. His brothers sold him into slavery, and later he was unjustly imprisoned in Egypt. It seemed like he was completely abandoned, yet in hindsight, we see that each step of his isolation was God's way of protecting and preparing him. His separation from his family and the familiar was necessary to fulfill his destiny of saving nations. In your life today, divine protection might look like losing friends when you decide to change and align your life more closely with your faith. It can be lonely, but remember, when God removes distractions, it's often to replace them with divine direction. Your isolation could be a shield, keeping you safe for the purpose God has for you. Reason number 2, intense personal development. Another reason God's chosen ones often experience solitude is for personal development. This isn't just self-improvement. It's spiritual growth that can only happen when you're away from distractions. Solitude provides space for God to refine your character, enhance your wisdom, and deepen your relationship with Him. Moses, for example, spent 40 years in the desert before leading the Israelites out of Egypt. That time of solitude wasn't wasted. It was necessary for him to grow into the leader God needed him to be. In the same way, the quiet moments in your life are opportunities for God to shape you for the tasks ahead. In today's fast-paced world, finding solitude can be hard, but it's essential for growth. Use your time of isolation to pray, meditate, and study Scripture. It's in these moments that you may come to understand more fully what God is calling you to do. Reason number 3, you're destined for an uncommon path. When you're chosen by God, you're often called to walk a path that's different from the norm. It's an uncommon destiny, which means your life won't always look like those around you. You might make decisions that others don't understand, and that can lead to feelings of isolation. John the Baptist, is a perfect example of this. He lived an unusual life in the wilderness, away from society, preparing the way for Jesus. His isolation wasn't a punishment, it was part of his calling. In your life, this might mean you prioritize your spiritual journey over worldly success, or make sacrifices that others might not understand. If you find yourself feeling alone because your path is different, take heart. It's because you're walking an uncommon journey, one that God has specifically designed for you. Reason number 4, deep spiritual connection. A deeper connection with God often demands solitude. The world is noisy, full of distractions, and to hear God's voice clearly, sometimes we need to step away. Jesus himself often withdrew to lonely places to pray. Even though he was surrounded by people during his ministry, he knew the importance of solitude to connect with his Father. In today's busy world, finding time to be alone with God is difficult, but it's vital. These moments of solitude are where you can truly connect with him, seek his will, and receive guidance. If you've been called to a closer relationship with God, embrace these times of solitude. They are sacred. Reason number 5, preservation of spiritual sensitivity. When God sets someone apart for a specific purpose, he often gives them a heightened spiritual sensitivity, a gift that allows them to discern his will more clearly. But this sensitivity needs to be protected, and solitude is one way God does that. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the noise and chaos of the world, it's because your spiritual sensitivity is a gift that needs nurturing. Solitude allows you to maintain this gift, ensuring you stay in tune with God's voice. Reason number 6, preparation for future roles. Solitude is often a time of preparation. When God has a big role for you to play, he may first take you through a season of isolation to equip you with the strength, wisdom, and faith you'll need. Paul the Apostle spent 3 years in Arabia after his conversion before beginning his ministry. That time of solitude was crucial for his spiritual formation. If you're feeling isolated now, consider it preparation for something greater. God is preparing you for a role that requires the skills and growth that come from solitude. Reason number 7, detachment from worldly matters. Lastly, those called by God are often detached from worldly concerns. This doesn't mean they're uninterested in life, but they prioritize spiritual goals over material ones. Like Daniel in the Bible, who chose not to indulge in the luxuries of Babylon, you may find yourself making choices that set you apart from others. This detachment can lead to solitude, but it's a necessary part of staying focused on God's calling. In a world obsessed with material success, your choice to prioritize spiritual growth may make you feel like an outsider. But this detachment is what keeps you grounded in your faith and aligned with God's purposes. In conclusion, if you've ever felt alone, know that your solitude isn't a sign of neglect. It's a mark of distinction. It's a divine preparation for something greater than you can imagine. Now, I want to hear from you. Has solitude played a role in your spiritual journey? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If this message spoke to your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that delves deep into the spiritual aspects of life. Share this video with anyone who might need to understand why they feel alone. It might bring them the encouragement they need. Thank you for being part of this community. Remember, even in your quietest moments, you are never truly alone. God is with you, preparing you for the extraordinary future he has planned. See you in the next video, and God bless you.